Daniel adjusted his tie in the mirror, his reflection staring back at him with a hint of unease. His wife, Clara, stood behind him, arms crossed, her lips pressed into a thin line. They had been married for 5 years, a blissful half-decade filled with laughter, arguments over the thermostat, and shared dreams. But lately, Clara had been acting different. More skeptical. Suspicious, even. "I trust you, Daniel," Clara began, her voice laced with the kind of tone that made his stomach flip. "But actions speak louder than words." "Clara," he said softly, turning to face her, "I've never given you a reason to doubt me. Why do you keep acting like this?" Her gaze softened momentarily before she raised an eyebrow. "It's not about what you've done. It's about what you might do." She paused. "So I've come up with a little test." "A test?" His brow furrowed. "What kind of test?" Clara smirked and gestured for him to follow her. Intrigued and slightly apprehensive, Daniel trailed behind as she led him to their bedroom. On the bed lay an assortment of clothes, feminine clothes. A sleek black dress, a pair of nude pumps, a blonde wig, and a makeup kit were neatly arranged. He blinked, processing the scene. "Clara, what is this?" Her arms folded again, her confidence unwavering. "You say you're loyal to me, right? That there's no one else? Well, prove it. Spend the weekend as Danielle." "Danielle?" he repeated, incredulous. "You." "But as a woman." She tilted her head. "If you're truly loyal, this won't bother you." Besides, she picked up the black dress, holding it against his chest with a teasing grin. "You'd make a stunning woman." Danielle's mouth opened and closed, searching for words that wouldn't come. Was she serious? Judging by her determined expression, she was. "You've lost your mind," he finally said, a nervous laugh escaping his lips. "Maybe." Clara shrugged, her smirk unwavering. "Or maybe I'm just creative. Think about it. You always say you'd do anything for me. This is your chance to prove it." He stared at her, dumbfounded. A part of him wanted to laugh it off and walk away. But another part, a quieter, guilt-tinged part, knew refusing might only fuel her suspicions. He'd heard stories of couples who crumbled under mistrust, and he didn't want to become one of them. "Fine," he sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "If this is what it takes to convince you, good." Clara's eyes lit up, and she practically skipped to the vanity. "Let's get started." Danielle's transformation was nothing short of astounding. Clara worked with a precision that hinted at years of watching makeup tutorials. Foundation smoothed over his angular features, softening them. Contour and blush brought out cheekbones he didn't know he had. The blonde wig framed his face, cascading down his shoulders like liquid gold. When the black dress hugged his frame, Clara stepped back, admiring her handiwork. "Danielle," she declared, spinning him toward the mirror. Danielle's jaw dropped. The person staring back at him wasn't a man in drag, it was an elegant woman. His legs looked impossibly long in the pumps, and the dress accentuated a figure that was almost convincing. "You look amazing," Clara said, a mix of pride and mischief in her eyes. "Now, time for your first challenge." "Challenge?" he echoed, wobbling slightly as he adjusted to the heels. "You're coming with me to the mall," she announced.
"What?"
"No way." He shook his head vehemently. "People will see me." "Exactly."
She grinned.
"This is about commitment, remember? Loyalty. If you can handle this, I'll never doubt you again." Daniel groaned, but found himself agreeing. He told himself it was because he loved her, but deep down, he suspected it was also because he was curious. What would it be like to walk in her shoes, literally? The mall was bustling, a cacophony of laughter, chatter, and footsteps echoing off polished floors. Daniel, or Danielle, as Clara kept calling him, clutched his purse tightly, hyper-aware of every glance thrown his way. "You're doing great," Clara whispered, linking her arm through his.
"Relax."
"No one suspects a thing." He wasn't so sure. A teenage girl giggled as they passed, and an older woman raised an eyebrow. Danielle's face burned, but he forced himself to focus on Clara, who seemed to be having the time of her life. "Let's try some clothes," she said, dragging him into a boutique. She handed him a sequin dress and a pair of jeans with a crop top. Go on, try them. The fitting room was a small sanctuary where Danielle could breathe. As he slipped into the sequin dress, he caught his reflection again. It was surreal seeing himself like this. A strange mixture of embarrassment and fascination bubbled within him. Danielle? Clara's voice snapped him out of his thoughts. Show me. He stepped out, feeling ridiculous yet oddly confident. Clara clapped her hands, beaming. You're a natural. The weekend unfolded in ways Danielle couldn't have anticipated. From shopping trips to makeup tutorials, Clara kept him on his toes. At first, he felt awkward, but as the hours turned into days, he found himself enjoying the experience. He gained a newfound appreciation for the effort Clara put into her appearance and the subtle power of femininity. By Sunday night, he was exhausted but oddly content. Clara sat beside him on the couch, her head resting on his shoulder. You know, she said softly, you've been amazing. I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. I'd do anything for you, he replied, meaning it. She looked up at him, her eyes shimmering with gratitude.
I know.
And I'm sorry for doubting you. He smiled, relief washing over him. Does this mean Danielle can retire? Clara laughed, her voice like music. Not entirely. I think she might come in handy for date nights. Danielle groaned, but he couldn't help but laugh with her. The weekend had been an unexpected journey, but in the end, it brought them closer together. And as he packed away the heels and dresses, he realized loyalty wasn't just about words. It was about stepping out of your comfort zone, even if it meant stepping into a pair of stilettos. Danielle thought Sunday night marked the end of his stint as Danielle. He'd played the part, proven his loyalty, and survived the oddest weekend of his life. Clara's suspicions seemed to have evaporated, replaced by a glow of satisfaction and renewed affection. Yet, as the alarm blared early Monday morning, Clara had a glint in her eye that sent a shiver down his spine. Rise and shine, she chirped, yanking the covers off the bed. You've got work to do. Danielle groaned, rolling over to squint at her. It's Monday. I need to get to the office. Exactly, she said, holding up the blonde wig like it was some sort of trophy. And today, Danielle gets her big break. He sat up so fast he nearly fell off the bed. You can't be serious. My job, Clara. This is crossing the line.
Relax.
Clara perched on the edge of the bed, her tone annoyingly calm. It's only for a day.
Just think about it.
Everyone at work will see how committed and flexible you are. It'll definitely make an impression on your boss. Danielle opened his mouth to argue, but her words gave him pause. He'd been gunning for the Employee of the Month award for months now. It came with a hefty bonus and a reserved parking spot, perks he'd been dreaming about. His boss, Mr. Price, valued creativity and team spirit. As crazy as it sounded, maybe showing up as Danielle would make him stand out. He sighed, rubbing his temples. Clara, if this backfires. It won't, she interrupted, already pulling out the dress she deemed office appropriate. It was a simple navy blue number, professional yet flattering, paired with low heels. Trust me, you've got this. The ride to the office felt like an eternity. Danielle's heart raced as he adjusted his wig in the rearview mirror, dreading every red light where neighboring drivers might glance his way. By the time he pulled into the parking lot, his palms were clammy and his confidence hung by a thread. Clara had insisted on walking him to the door, her enthusiasm unwavering. Remember, she whispered, squeezing his hand. Shoulders back. Smile. You're not Danielle today. You're Danielle, a confident, ambitious woman ready to take on the world. He swallowed hard, forcing himself to nod. As Clara waved him off with a cheerful good luck, he stepped into the building, each click of his heels echoing like a gunshot. The reaction started almost immediately. As he passed the reception desk, Marcy, the receptionist, did a double take, her jaw dropping slightly. Danielle, she asked hesitantly. No, he said, his voice faltering before he remembered to pitch it higher. It's Danielle today. Marcy blinked, clearly struggling to process this, but she managed a weak smile. Well, Danielle, you look great. Thanks, he said, forcing a smile and hurrying toward the elevator. Inside the cramped space, he prayed no one else would join him. Of course, the universe had other plans. Just as the doors began to close, they reopened to reveal Linda from HR. Linda stepped inside, her eyes immediately zeroing in on him.
Oh.
New hire? She asked, her gaze lingering on his wig. Danielle cleared his throat.
No, it's me. Danielle.
Or, Danielle. Linda raised an eyebrow but didn't press further. Interesting choice for a Monday. But hey, you do you. When the elevator dinged, he bolted out, eager to escape further scrutiny. His desk felt like a haven until he noticed his coworker, Mike, approaching. Mike was the office joker, always ready with a quip. Whoa, Danielle, Mike said, leaning against the cubicle wall. What's the occasion? Halloween in April? Danielle bristled, but kept his voice steady. No occasion. Just experimenting. Mike smirked but didn't push it, likely sensing that Danielle wasn't in the mood for jokes. As the morning wore on, the whispers started. He could feel eyes on him as he typed away, his cheeks burning with every passing comment. By lunchtime, however, something unexpected happened. Danielle. Mr. Price's booming voice made him jump. His boss stood in the doorway of his office, motioning for him to come over. Danielle hesitated, smoothing the front of his dress before getting up. This was it, the moment of truth. Come in, Mr. Price said, gesturing to the chair opposite his desk. As Danielle sat down, Price leaned back in his chair, his expression a mix of curiosity and amusement. So, care to explain? Danielle took a deep breath, rehearsing the speech he'd been crafting all morning. I wanted to challenge myself, sir. To step out of my comfort zone and embrace a new perspective. I thought it might show my commitment to adaptability and creativity, qualities that, I believe, are crucial in this company. Price's eyebrows shot up, and then he laughed. A deep, hearty laugh that filled the room. Well, I'll be damned. That's one hell of an explanation. He leaned forward, his grin widening. You've got guts, I'll give you that. Most people wouldn't dare do something this bold. Danielle blinked, unsure if this was praise or mockery. Tell you what, Price continued. We're hosting client presentation this afternoon, and I need someone who can command attention. Think you're up for it. His stomach dropped. A client presentation? Dressed like this? But then he remembered Clara's words. Confidence. I'm ready, he said, surprising even himself. The presentation was nerve-wracking, to say the least. Danielle stood at the front of the conference room, his palms slick with sweat as he clicked through slides. The clients, a mix of executives from a tech company, seemed intrigued, not just by the content but by him. When the meeting ended, one of the executives approached him. Danielle, right? She said, extending a hand. That was one of the most engaging presentations I've seen in a while. Your energy is infectious. Thank you, he said, shaking her hand, his smile more genuine this time. By the end of the day, word had spread throughout the office. Danielle wasn't just a curiosity anymore. She was a sensation. Coworkers stopped by his desk to compliment his courage. Even Mike, the office joker, admitted he'd underestimated him. When Mr. Price called him into the office again, Danielle braced himself. You did good today, Price said. Real good. I think you've got what it takes for Employee of the Month. Danielle's heart soared. The humiliation, the whispers, it had all been worth it. That evening, Clara greeted him at the door with a knowing smile. How was your day, Danielle? He dropped his bag and sighed, kicking off the heels.
Exhausting.
But surprisingly rewarding. Clara laughed, pulling him into a hug.
See?
I told you, you're capable of so much more than you think. As they sat on the couch, Danielle recounted his day, from the awkward elevator ride to the triumphant presentation. Clara listened intently, her smile never fading. You know, she said when he finished, I think Danielle has more to teach us. Maybe she's not just a test or a one-time thing. Maybe she's a reminder that sometimes stepping into someone else's shoes, literally, can show us what we're really made of. Danielle thought about this, his mind drifting back to the confidence he'd felt during the presentation. Maybe Clara was right. Maybe Danielle wasn't just a character or a costume. She was a part of him, a part he hadn't realized existed. And as he leaned back on the couch, a small smile playing on his lips, he couldn't help but think that maybe Danielle's journey was. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.